Right now, it's all about stockbroking, the pathway to wealth creation. That is what we really want to talk about this morning. And with me here in the studio is a seasoned stockbroker. He's been in the business of stockbroking for over like 18 years, right? Or a decade?
Right.
Yeah, over like 18 years. No other person than Anthony Ighodalo, right?
Idogo.
Idogo. Yes, Anthony Idogo. It's a pleasure having you in the studio.
Yeah.
All right. You'll be wondering, we're going to be talking about stockbroking, stockbroker, and the rest of that. Let's just start from, let's say, the kindergarten stage. What are stocks?
Stock is a unit of ownership in a company or a firm listed on the Nigeria Stock Exchange. A unit of ownership. That's what stock is basically.
A unit of ownership. All right.
Of a listed company.
All right.
Yes.
Okay, so we're talking about stock now. Who is a stockbroker?
A stockbroker is somebody that is licensed by a regulatory body to carry out the business of buying and selling stocks. In a stockbroking firm, it's not everybody that is a stockbroker. We have analysts, we have accountants. The same way we have in a hospital, we have doctors, we have pharmacists, and all that. So a stockbroker is somebody that is licensed by a professional body to carry out the business of buying and selling shares. That's who a stockbroker is.
All right. Now let's dive deep into this stockbroking of the things. I'm not saying that stockbroking is another channel to make or generate wealth. How true is this assertion?
Stockbroking is a verifiable channel to make wealth, but the truth of the matter is stock business is something that has to do with knowledge. It's a knowledge-driven business. So many people just want to put in money and jump at smartly. It's not like that. It's something that has to do with knowledge. It's more than you having the money. When you have the money, you also acquire knowledge to do the business, or you contact a professional to manage your stock portfolio for you. That's when you can get the best from stock business or stock trading.
So how is it different from an ordinary business that you need the input of a professional to help you manage the stock?
To start with, it's like if you want to buy a land, for example, you consult a professional. The same way if you want to buy shares, you consult a professional. The professional will guide you on how to go. You know, in this part of the country, most people, they don't consult professionals. They just want to do things their own way. So if you want to buy shares, there are some certain things you need to know about shares, how it runs and all that. And the professional advice you'll be given depends on your objective, what you want, because people buy shares for different reasons. People buy shares for retirement purpose. People buy shares as a side also, kind of. People buy shares as a way of store of wealth. So we have different reasons for delving into shares. Your reason, your objective determines the kind of professional advice you will get.
So you're saying right now it's not advisable for one with money to jump into share broking?
I'm not saying it's not advisable. The truth of the matter is this: when you have money, basically our funds go into two parts. We have capital expenditures and recurrent expenditures. Recurrent expenditures are your everyday needs. Most people use what they are supposed to put aside or set aside for their recurrent expenditures into share business, which is a capital expenditure, which have to do with long time. So there's always issues if you are using your recurrent money that is made for recurrent expenditures for capital expenditure. So when you meet with a stockbroker, the stockbroker will ask you a lot of questions. Know your worth, know what you can spare over a long period of time that will be invested into shares.
So you're saying that money that should be set aside for stockbroking and those kind of money you may not be in need of for some years. Is that what you're saying?
Not necessarily years. It may be 3 months, it may be 6 months, it may be years. It depends on your objective. If you need this money for 3 months, your stockbroker can advise you to buy treasury bill. We have what we call treasury bill. We have what we call commercial paper. We have what we call bonds, government bonds, company bonds. Your advisor, your professional advisor, which is stockbroker, now will advise you based on your objective, which have to do with duration, maybe 3 months, 6 months, a year, 5 years, 10 years, as the case may be.
All right, now as a stockbroker, how can you tell that a company is viable? Maybe peradventure I want to dive into stockbroking.
We have many determinants that determine if a company is viable. Basically, we have fundamentals. We also have sentiments. For example, if two companies are importing a particular product to the country, and there is a rumor from the grapevine that there is a policy that will stop one company from importing while the other one will be importing, that rumor can drive the price of the shares of that company. That's sentiment. The fundamentals have to do with a company that is doing well. So there are a lot of fundamentals we consider. All these are the responsibilities of your professional advisor. He will do the due diligence and guide you accordingly based on the fundamentals of that company which you intend to buy. I don't want to mention the name of any company.
All right. Now let's take a look at brands right now. Some people be like, okay, fine, I want to go into stockbroking, but I need to get dividends in the next 3 to 6 months. Is that feasible?
Dividends are paid annually.
Okay.
And we also have companies that pay dividend mid-year. That is, they pay twice. There is no company that pay dividends every 3 months. Though we have financial products that pay dividends every quarter. These are fixed instruments. They are not shares, not equity proper. So if you are looking for something that pays dividend every 3 months, we will refer you accordingly. You can buy FGM bond. FGM bond pays interest every quarter. That's for FGM bond.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. And the federal government bond.
Federal government bond.
No, if someone is trying to battle with the forces of what you rightly said, capital expenditure, and of course the other kind of expenditure. Maybe the man is still struggling, trying to make ends meet. Would you advise such a person or such a man to go into stockbroking?
Like I said earlier, I said our sources of income have 2 streams.
Yes.
Recurrent expenditures
and capital expenditures.
So if you have a capital expenditure of, say, maybe for example 10 million naira in 10 years time, whatever you have annually can be going into shares, capital expenditure wise, so that by the expiration of 10 years you can pull the whole of that 10 million from that shares and use it to finance that capital project which you have planned for.
So what if a man is struggling, trying to make ends meet?
That's why we advise people, before you buy shares, you need to know what your recurrent expenditure is like. And what they earn is not even enough for their recurrent expenditures. We don't normally advise them to buy shares. Because for you to buy shares, you must be stable a little. You must be stable. You must have something to spare for 3 months, 4 months, 6 months, a year, as the case may be. Not for example, your salary is 100,000 and your recurrent expenditures is 100,000 or 103. So we don't advise you to buy shares. If what you earn is being got by your recurrent expenditure, or you don't have anything significant to spare, we don't advise you to buy shares.
So you're saying right now stockbroking are for persons or people that are comfortable financially. Is that what you're saying right now?
When you say financially, it's a relative word. Sometimes some people are ready to sacrifice. Some people are ready to live below their means. For example, somebody that is earning a certain amount, ordinarily, status-wise, such a person can afford a duplex. The person can choose to rent a 2-room apartment or a 3-bedroom flat and be investing the difference in shares. So not necessarily for the rich. It's not necessarily for the rich. But so, our advice is just have something to cover your recurrent expenditure so that you will not abort whatever you have in shares when there is need for such recurrent expenditure.
So you're saying right now shares should be left over a period of, let's say, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, that you dipping hands into the share, the money invested in that shares you're talking about?
It depends on your objective. If your objective is for something that has to do with 6 months, and somewhere along the line something came up, you are aborting the process. Maybe that share is supposed to rise from, say, 200,000 to 400,000. Midway, you need money urgently. And maybe the shares have not appreciated. You now abort it. You may end up making loss. So there is always a gestation period for every investment.
All right.
Yes.
Now let's take a look at the prospect of some person saying you get our apps or put it in your phone. We're going to tell you how to do stockbroking. Let the computer take over. You just go to bed, sleep. The app will do it for you. What do you feel about that particular tech?
Yes, tech is everywhere. And in the capital market, tech is a big plus. But what I must warn is, if you are dealing with any company, any investment firm that does not have a conventional office in Nigeria, or that is not regulated by the regulatory body of our industry, which are Ministry of Finance, Securities and Exchange Commission, Nigeria Stock Exchange, I will not advise you to subscribe to such app or business, because if you have any issues, you will not have anybody to run to. I'm not saying some of those businesses are not genuine. They are, but for safety's sake, restrict your business or who you are dealing with to a company, an individual, a firm that have a conventional office in Nigeria or that is under the scope of our regulatory body. That's my advice.
Well, now someone saying that one can liken stockbroking to a Ponzi scheme. How true is this?
Shares is not Ponzi scheme. The challenge is some people come with the mindset of a Ponzi scheme to shares. And when you come with that mindset, you'll be disappointed. Like I said earlier, shares is something that is knowledge driven. A lot of people lose their money because they lack the knowledge. So shares is not Ponzi scheme, and it will not.
So what's the difference? After all, you invest money, you wait for a while, you get money. Yes. Is that not stockbroking or stock trading?
Ponzi scheme, most Ponzi scheme, they give returns that, that are weird.
It's unmarginable returns.
Yes, unmarginable, but in capital market, it's not so. The returns are fair. Sometimes you can get something tangible, but we don't give such returns in capital market. Such returns are not there. If you come to the capital market with such mindset, you'll be disappointed, because those returns are not real. Imagine somebody giving you 100,000 after 1 week or after 1 month, the person will return another 100,000. There is no business that you do that can fetch such return, ideally. Because
they are saying this like a stock trade, so to speak. You get this part, you get that part, go to that place, weekly returns, monthly returns. It's all money like a stockbroking.
No, it's not, sir. It's different from stockbroking. Ponzi scheme is different from stockbroking. Most Ponzi schemes, they are not regulated by our regulators. If you go to any stockbroking firm and you do any business, if anything come up, there is a place you can go and report that firm to seek redress, and the issue will be addressed logically. Unlike Ponzi scheme, where you just have an app, they'll tell you pay this, do this. By the time you go to their office, they are nowhere to be found. I don't want to mention names. So shares business is different from Ponzi scheme.
Totally different from Ponzi scheme.
Very, very different, yeah.
All right, now if you take a look at Nigeria today, it's like some persons or many persons are so scared of going into stockbroking because they don't know the company that are viable. Some are saying it's another way of losing your money. Some term that in plain English, money misroad. You leave your money there, once the company crashes, that is the end of it.
Personally, I have a determinant I use personally. There's something we call inelastic demand.
Inelastic demand?
Yes, in ordinary economics. Most companies that produce inelastic demand goods, they hardly have issues. Companies like cement manufacturing companies, food manufacturing companies, drugs manufacturing companies, etc. Such companies hardly have issues. Even banks.
But there are some drug manufacturing companies that have left the shores of Nigeria.
They were delisted and their shareholders were paid off. So someone may just tell you, I used to have, for example, GlaxoSmithKline.
Yes.
It's a good brand. GlaxoSmithKline was delisted and their shareholders were paid off. The same thing applies to some other firms. That does not mean that some will not delist and not do payoff. It's not all that delist and pay off. But most times, before they will delist, if you are dealing with somebody that knows his onions, the person will be able to tell you, come and sell these shares. It's like the coast is not clear now. You exit.
So it's like, there's time for you to cash out. Is that what you're saying right now in stockbroking? If they talked about you, it's not clear right now. move.
Exactly. Like I said earlier, if you are dealing with a professional, somebody that knows what he or she is doing, the person will guide you all through and you don't have any issues.
All right, now before we call it a wrap on this segment, because maybe having you subsequently, what advice do you have for those intending to go for stockbroking?
My advice I have for those that want to go into stockbroking is they should contact a stockbroker that is registered.
Registered stockbroker.
Licensed. It's very easy to get registered stockbrokers. Just go to the website of the Nigeria Stock Exchange. It will show you at a glance the list of registered stockbroking companies in Nigeria. Choose any one of your choice. You are in Benin City. Some of these stockbroking firms have offices in Benin, so you can contact their Benin office and they will guide you accordingly.
All right, thank you so much, Anthony, for this brief lecture. Not to worry, subsequently we have you on this particular platform to tell us more about business, about stock, about any other thing that has to do with business. I appreciate your comment.
Thank you, sir.